So all of these concepts are made to fight you. That's why your culture has to be important. You must know your culture. And the only way you can know your culture is by having a proper comprehension of your history.
Energy then.
No, a lifestyle.
Okay.
If you're wearing a suit every day,
Okay,
you must
then,
be
true.
office man, real
Yeah,
estate.
yeah.
You must drive a car.
Yeah.
You must, life is composed.
He painted a picture.
He painted
that wasn't
a picture.
quite original.
A very beautiful Picasso picture, but it's hollow. It's painted on toilet paper.
You know yourself if you're listening to this.
Respectfully.
No, you don't do that. Don't slander him and then say respectfully.
It was not slander. It was just
No, I got
just
you.
painting it what it was. But yeah. So that was interesting, I'll say.
Yeah.
But
See, with walking on territorial ground, before we get an intro in, like different territories, yeah. Like for example, that was the first experience with someone booking. Like I said, I got the booking ready. Yeah, it's different. Obviously, it's different. Then you don't know how to feel anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like you haven't encountered this before, so you're not sure how this is supposed to go down.
Yeah.
The same thing is it where if someone says something or moves a certain way that man has never been used to before, you give wrong implications. That's why I'm saying, like, I know you can be intentional about everything that you do. You know what you're doing, but then at the same time, for the other person that you might be leading on per se, like they're battling it because they've never had this before. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense,
I'm not sure how to go about this. Do you know what I mean?
But then they should just ask though.
Yeah.
I think asking is key.
Maybe it's different from a female perspective. I feel like.
What do you mean?
I feel like it'd be harder for us though.
Yeah.
Like
really?
we would be the ones battling, but I still feel like you should just ask.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, be straightforward. All right, cool. You hear that? Be straightforward. All right, little intro, yeah? Yeah? Energy. You know the vibes right now. Everyone's going to shout it out, you know what I mean? Yo, people, this is the Talk Podcast. A lot of people are mispronouncing it. It's Talk. It's not Talk, yeah? It's Talk Podcast. TALC, the C's for culture.
Yes.
Remember that, yeah? Quick room check. It's your boy Josh in the building first.
GK.
Yeah?
And Loz.
We got a special guest in the building.
Special
Special queen.
Man, she's traveled quite a bit to get here. You know what I mean? She had to, it's different area codes. You know what I mean? Different. She's got her new pod just started not long ago. Actually, listen to that. Dose of D, remember that? Yeah. What is it? 47 minutes longer. Listen to that testimony. Powerful. You know what I mean? Different. We got. I'm gonna butcher your name. Because I heard you say it on the thing, and I was like, I say Nanai? Yeah. Is it, the way you say the...
It's Danai, but only Zimbabwean, because I'm Zimbabwean, like, we only have the tongue to say da. Like, no one else can actually say da.
Do I have it? Wait, da.
Yeah, like,
Danai.
but then we put it Danai, because it's like NDA but it's not DANAI.
Yeah.
But like growing up, everyone's like Deny, D, so I was just like, just call me D.
You have that trouble with mentioning your name every single time?
Yeah,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So it's in relation to like kind of your name. So someone I know like made this post on Instagram, and she just made a video, and she was like, so I'm sick of people calling my name like the English way, or like I'm sick of shortening my name for people, so from now on say it like this. And she said her actual name. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you think it's sad that we have to like shapeshift
Yeah.
shapeshift our names to like conform to like people around us?
I feel like I have an unpopular opinion on that, because a lot of people I had this discussion. There was a situation at the church I've been going to on Sunday, and there was another girl, and they couldn't pronounce her name, and like I understood like why she wanted the person to pronounce her name properly, but like to me, I'm I think sometimes I understand for us our identity, you know, like a lot of like us black in such a heavily white country, it's like really hard to find your identity, and our name correlates with that. But I feel like there has to be a level of understanding. Yeah. Like with my name, Da, even Africans can't pronounce that. Now, how am I going to expect like an Australian to be able to pronounce it? Like I can't get mad at them for not being able to pronounce it. Yeah. But I understand why people do get mad. Yeah.
True. That's true. I don't think about it too much.
Well, your name's like, Josh.
No, my last name. Yeah, it's much different levels to it. But like, my last name, like people, every time in school they'd read my first name. It's like they try the first syllable. So my last name is Angwenyi, but then like it's NYI. A lot of people have trouble. It's one syllable, so it's like Angwe and then Nyi. So it's like, it's just follow through. But then people say Anagwe, like it's like you don't pronounce every letter. You know what I mean? So there's some times where I have like I just tell them not to, but like you don't have to. Like I mean, for me, I have a choice at least to say Josh. For yours is like it's your first name, so it's, what's your last name?
Harawa. It's I guess the show is Harawa.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah, that was mad. Yeah. Man, beautiful names, bro. Yeah. I listen to a lot of South African gospel music, like Joy Celebration, and I tried to do the clicking thing. Doesn't work, bro. Doesn't work. Yeah,
it's so nice.
Yeah. Do you know how people make fun of Africans? Oh, you speak the click. You try it. Try it. See if you can do it. Honestly, it's mad. Yeah. Just back onto the name thing. It's just like I never, like I don't pressure people to say it right.
Yes.
I just say like it's all good. You don't have to. You know what I mean?
Because now it's just awkward. Like you're trying to pronounce your name. I'm just standing there like okay.
Yeah.
Like even though you're gonna try it 2-3 times, like, it's not right. It's not right. Like it's still not the one.
With that one, I know like in some of it actually came up in like on my business course in terms of like international like relations and communication. A lot of the time like overseas business partners would appreciate people being able to like take the time to pronounce their name because it shows like a sign of respect. So maybe in like the business sort of world that's like maybe like taking the time to actually understand that. And it also came with like mannerisms as well and greetings and stuff like that. Like that holistic consideration was important. So I feel like it is, I think it taking the time to understand like how someone's name is pronounced can be somewhat seen as respectful, but it can be annoying if you just continuously mispronounce it. So I kind of see like both sides to it, I guess. But like for me, obviously I've never had problems. It's just grace. And like with Kikuyu, it's like how it looks is how it's pronounced. It's just Swahili. So like Kinuthia is literally how it is spelt. How it sounds is how it's spelt most of the time. So it's very like if you mispronounce it, it's like yo.
I'm not sure if it's the same. Exactly. There's no one of these ones or these ones. Like I don't know if it's the same for Zimbabwean names, but almost every Kenyan name, there's no hidden pronunciations. Like my dad's name, Mayaka. These guys choose to say Makaya. Like the K, like I feel like
I've done
like, sometimes you're the culprit. No, but sometimes people just like as soon as it's foreign, they switch off common sense.
But you know what though? I don't think that's necessarily a foreign thing. There was a study done in America. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. Like we don't actually read in each individual letter. We read the letter as a whole. We read the word as a whole. So you can I can write out a message to you with spelling mistakes in every single word, but you'll still know what the paragraph says without fail. So I feel like in that situation, I don't know if it would be a cultural thing.
It probably could be. It could be.
But I feel like because the girl even mentioned like she wanted people to call her.
We're back. A little technical difficulty. My computer is like 30 years old. Its knees is giving in, back pains and everything. So, just decided to stop. So the question we asked while the camera was still rolling was, your journey. It's weird because you just said it. Your journey before you started your your podcast?
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, I feel like for the last like 5 years, I've just been like, oh, like I want to start a podcast, made different logos, made different pages, but like I kept saying like I'm not ready. But I just kind of said to myself this year, I was like, what does being ready mean? I feel like we live in a culture where like you have to be ready for things, but it's like you will never be ready. Like you actually have to just do things. So I just got out of bed and I just started talking.
No, man. And how'd you feel after it though?
Weird, because I was listening back to it and I was like, ew. But it's weird. It's like I dissociated from the fact that it was me, and I was like, this girl's spitting facts.
Love that.
Who is this? Yeah, man.
Did you listen to like any podcasts prior?
I listened. I'm like a podcast junkie.
I love that.
Like you guys.
What are your top three?
Top three.
Yeah.
Oh, top
we
three.
We don't have to be in it.
Like,
So talk podcast. Top three. I feel like 90s Baby started my like obsession with podcasts.
Hey, I need to get on this too.
Same here.
Like I feel like they've done a lot without realizing. Top three. Second, it's because I listen to like a whole different range, like genres. I've been listening to one lately which I really enjoy. It's called Everything Is We. You guys should check it out. And shout out to Disruption Podcast. You know the vibes.
Yeah, they're crazy as well. 90s Babies. Great.
Love them.
Great.
Love them.
What episode did you join them on?
I feel like I started listening to him like 2019.
Do you remember what episode that was?
I don't remember, but like I remember that was like 2019 before they actually like blew up. Like they were getting a bit more popular, but not entirely.
No, I joined them. I think it was. I can't remember how I found them. I'm not sure how. This is when I used to use SoundCloud. And I think I seen episode 98 or 96 or something. And they were building up to episode 100 where they had like a live studio. And that was one of the funniest things I've ever listened to. And ever since then, every week, as soon as it dropped, I listened to it.
I think I like... there's another podcast I listen to, but like I'm so ashamed because they're so toxic and they know it. It's called the Rap Party Podcast.
They're
so
on the table and stuff. UK.
Oh my gosh! Like one of the guys on it, shout out to him. But he was like, if he gets a girl, he's gonna make her change her mobile number.
He said that, like new contacts, new everything.
She was like, "There's no way no one from her old life would be."
Is this the one with the 4 guys? Yeah, I remember you sent them to me and I watched a few.
But I love the episode. It's so toxic, but I love it.
I love watching podcasts with like men because I love to like
podcast banging like
it's just the inside
I haven't
part
listened
of it.
to a lot of female ones.
Oh guys, check out Aussie Gunner Boys.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them too.
They're really good as well.
I listened to them because of Grace's suggestion too.
They're good. They're really insightful as well. Like they're really cool.
Listen to the one Titans on.
Oh yeah, Musicians.
Yeah, I listen to that one every now and then as well. The one I've been consistent with is 90s Babies, but with
who's your favorite?
I mean, everyone's favorite is Fred.
Really? I love Dennis. No, come on, guys. VP.
Okay, this
I love them all, but like,
reasons, So, like for Fred, it's like he's saying what I'm thinking, but I wouldn't say it. You know
so you're
what
toxic too.
Everyone has it in them, bro. Trust me, you talk to all the men, they would say the same exact thing. Like, he says what you're thinking and wouldn't be able to say. And then, like, Tem is like, he has a childish bit to him that's funny as. And then VP's,
I love Dennis.
They're all like, they all connect properly. And it's proper funny. I was... This is how long I have been there. I was there before they did the VP intro. Before they started doing that. So
that's crazy.
Well, I've been listening to it for a time. I said, I'm growing with them. I'm growing with them. Shout out to them, man. But man, so you started your podcast and then now it's gone to a point where like people have gotten a taste of what you have to offer. Do you know what I mean? So now it's more like, when's the next one coming out? And so, are you feeling the pressure already, or is it like I have? Because you said you have a lot of them in the stash.
Yeah, I have a few pre-recorded ones. I don't really feel pressure. I think it's just more like finding the time to like actually like sit at my laptop and like talk to myself. But I don't know, because I feel like I don't really feel pressure though. Yeah, because I had positive feedback, so it was good.
True. We started a long time ago. Not long ago. It wasn't 5 years, but it was what? It was almost a year when he said, and then COVID hit. We're doing Zoom episodes or whatever, staying up till 3 a.m. just talking about a bunch of nothings. And then the first day we recorded, we were. This is personally, you guys could say for yourselves, but personally, I felt like, maybe I should. Maybe this podcast thing's not for me. Maybe it's not for. How do you guys feel? You guys felt alright about it or what?
Did you guys feel like imposter syndrome?
Yes.
That's really interesting.
And I heard you talk about it too.
Yeah, because I feel like everyone gets that when they start something.
100%.
You just feel like, oh, like, am I real, like, me doing this? Yeah, like.
And then it's one of those ones where, like, you expect for you to have your foot in the door and then become like the people you listen to. That's never the case.
Exactly. And they've spent time, like.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
putting time.
Putting in work in that. What, one episode? 22. Gang. But yeah, it's like a lot of development goes into it. And then it's like the people grow as well. Like it's not whatever I present on my first one is not going to be it. Like it's a progress as you go. And so do you feel like this is going to, or do you ever feel like this is going to be like it's a part of your life that you had to do, or is it like you just happen to jump into it and try it and see what happens?
Nah, I feel like I had to do a podcast. Like anyone that knows me personally, like I'm a very talkative person. I don't think I'm shy. Like I'm very bubbly. Like I just talk. You follow me on Instagram, people are like, oh, she's posting again. Like
she usually posts like such insightful stories.
I read them.
Share your thoughts.
You put a lot of effort into your stories too.
Someone said that to me.
Yeah, they have like the scheme and everything.
Yeah.
I just put
never.
So yeah, I feel like because I'm the type of person, and like I love such introspective conversations, such like deep. I hate small talk. Like it literally gives me anxiety to have small talk. Like I don't want to talk about your day. Like, like I do. Like, like I hate those. Like I'm good. Like let's talk about something.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how you get to know people. Because there's some people like, and I love them, but I've realized, okay, you're probably not someone I'll have introspective conversations with, and it's just because they don't have that ability to critically think. But then what I've noticed from like speaking to me more often, they're now getting more confident to like start getting deeper in conversation and things like that. So it's really I like
some
that.
people you got to work with, like,
exactly. And you meet like such different people, different opinions. Like people like be debating me in my DMs, and I'm like, bruh.
Do you have time for it or what?
Like sometimes I'll send a few voice notes because I hate typing. But then after but after a while I'm like, nah.
So you basically sometimes it gets to a point where you stop talking to people that don't engage, or
no?
Are you selective?
I don't think I'm selective, but I've become much more careful because I got dragged on social media one time. That was actually traumatizing.
Tell us what happened.
So basically, I posted something. To this day, I still stand by my opinion. I can't lie. Like I heard it from their end. Like I really like critically. I was like, but but I just don't agree. And I was slandered.
What was the argument? Or is it, are you going to get cancelled again?
Oh, what did they do?
It's a bit spicy. I don't know how spicy I can get on your guys'
just
podcast.
get spicy as you want.
Josh wants controversy.
Yeah, we love spice.
If I get cancelled again.
We want to at least get cancelled. That's how we go viral.
So what I'm about to say, I really need people to listen to my words carefully because that's where people get...
Be open-minded.
Let's go. Thumbnail right here.
Everyone be open-minded. Just listen.
Yeah.
So basically what I said is, if we're going to promote professions like stripping and OnlyFans, cool. However, the dangers of promoting those things to people that are under 18, and then when now they're legal, you need to talk about the bad sides of it. Talk about the creepy men, the dangers, the stalking that can happen. You're literally putting your life at risk in these professions. And I reiterate, I'm not talking down on, I'm not saying don't be a stripper, don't make an OnlyFans. What you do, that's none of my business. However, what I was saying is like, you're promoting that, but then why not promote safer professions for young women? Like, you know, this world is not safe for any type of woman. Doesn't matter how old you are. Like, you can still promote that if you want to, but also promote a wide range of options, because you're talking about the money, the, you know, being flown out, like going to Nobu, all these things, but you're not talking about the dangers and the psychological effects of it as well. Such a never say that, but such a like it
that's the real tea right there.
but like an industry like that, like you have to be really careful, and that's all I said. And I forgot that there are people that follow me that are in that profession, and I was dragged for a few hours. I just put my phone on airplane mode and I said, let me get back to work.
Wow.
What do you guys think of that though?
Get us cancelled.
I definitely agree with you. I was actually thinking about it a lot this week. I actually saw something speaking on like women empowerment, and someone was saying like, I don't like that we link OnlyFans and stripping and sex work to women empowerment, because why can't women empowerment be like teaching kids teaching young girls how to start businesses, invest in stock, things like that. And I kind of agree with that. I just don't like that. Like, you do you. If you want to be involved in sex work, go for it. Like, that's all you. But it's like, let's not label that as women empowerment.
There's different forms of women empowerment.
Yeah, let's not make that the be end all and be all of women empowerment.
Exactly, I agree.
Yeah, completely.
Oh, that's good.
I was listening to a podcast episode actually on this where they had like people who are in OnlyFans as well, and it was like a bunch of men, so it was very tense.
I've heard of that one. Yeah,
I was just. Because it's like, you know, when men come with a certain ego, but then I get where they're coming from. But then I'm like, but like after listening to the whole thing, like they're actually really insightful. And like, my opinion on that, it's like, I mean, yeah, like do what you want with like whatever you want. But a lot of the time, don't make that the face of women empowerment as well. Like even if I feel like through doing that, you're basically feeding an industry that objectifies women. And
Word.
And it just goes against the empowerment or dissociation of female bodies with just being sex objects.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's other means of you expressing yourself even bodily that doesn't involve like that industry as such. And even like looking into, I watched documentaries into that industry, and like it's like, do you blame the consumer or the producer and stuff like that? But it's like, as long as there's people still consuming it and people still in it, like they will always, the producer will always get a check at the end of the day. So it's like you can't even blame, you more so blame the consumer, but then it's like there's still content. So it's like it's more so like just getting like females into the right industry, because a lot of the time back in the day when people got into like sex work and stuff like that, it was like people who were potentially like, maybe if they were widowed and then they couldn't work because societally like female weren't allowed to work, so that's maybe the only industry that they could get into. So the foundation of sex work was not seen as like, okay, this is my career. It was like this is the last thing that I have to do. But now that we have so many other options and so many other avenues to make money, I feel like there should be other choices and more sustainable choices as well. Because at least with the podcast, what they're saying is that like you can do OnlyFans, but it's not a sustainable source of income.
It's not.
100%.
At least, and especially if like, and they were talking about how like a lot of the women build lifestyles on that income, but then come 10 years, there's going to be a newer, fresher woman who's more attractive to those men, or feed into that desire for fresh, new, vibrant females, where it's like then they will die out, and then it's like, what do you do then?
Exactly.
And I feel like females are missing the point with like OnlyFans and women empowerment, or labeling that as like feminism, liberating ourselves, because it's like, male gaze. Like, you're feeding the male gaze, and isn't that like
Spicy.
exactly what we don't want to do? Isn't that what the feminism like movement is for? Like, we don't want to like be feeding into the patriarchy, but like these kind of things, it's like we're feeding the male gaze. It's basically defeating the whole purpose of what feminism and like empowerment of women is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I don't.
I'll be honest, I don't. It shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing where you're also exposed. It's so common now. Like, it's. I hate that it's being normalized as well. Yeah. Like, it's being promoted that you can do this. You can do this. It's quite shocking. Not shocking, but it's quite normal nowadays to find kids on TikTok would see an image of a half-naked girl. Like, it's common. It's not.
And like things like that, it actually like makes me upset knowing how normalized like that industry is. And again, I think obviously feminism is about choice. Yeah. A woman having a choice, but you know, it feeds into like actual problems like hypersexuality, which affects a lot of young men as well. And then this and I'm not saying that like, you know, men should be accountable, but you know, we need to not disregard the fact that like a lot of people that do things to women, it stems from hypersexuality. Now they have really weird kinks, you know. It starts off as like very basic like porn, and now they need like the really weird gory things to get aroused, and it's like, and then they start to do those onto like women, and it's like we didn't ask for that to be done to us, but so these industries are just really unethical, and it breeds a lot that people don't realize.
And then if you bring up young people to think that could be your first option. It's like, okay, I get it that it makes money or whatever, but then at what cost? From a spiritual perspective, you're defiling yourself from the jump anyway. Like, it doesn't matter however much money you could be making a day. They brag about bringing 500 a night. I get that. That's my whole paycheck for a week. But then, at what cost? At what cost is it that you have to? They can come for me if they want. This is what I stand by in it. But like, the fact that you have to do that to, like, it shouldn't come at the cost of your body. Your body is something special in it. Like, it shouldn't have to come at that cost. And that's why I feel like, and a lot of. Say what you want, I feel like, sometimes it could be a laziness thing that you don't want to work hard. Yes, you could work hard in these industries and still not make it, but then it's also an excuse. Yes, I'll be cancelled for it, but then it's one of those things. Like, I feel like it's not. But
sometimes, like, despite all I'm saying, I do like. I think what we also have to recognize is that, like, I don't think a lot of the women in these industries want to be in that. Like, sometimes their situation forces them to be in it.
Cool.
It's a case in a lot of that's a case in a lot of third world countries. Like even like
they get sent,
Mexico, a lot of countries in Africa, like that industry is like all the people like all that women have, especially if they have no families and like, or even get like abandoned through being involved in that and can't come back to their families.
It's like
their only means of income. And I think that's where because I think that's where it essentially stemmed from, and then like now westernized it and then normalized it because it's like, okay, cool, like other countries are doing it, like let's make a bag of it. But it's like
let's make a show of it.
That's how I feel about like even like people that like, for example, use like America, young black men that will sell weed. Like, I'm not saying drugs are good. Don't do that. Don't do the weed. Like at all. But you know, a lot of the time, what like governments fail to realize, and I spoke about this yesterday. I'm like passionate about prison reform, like you. Their situations force them to be in that position, and people can say that's lazy, but it's like, if you've never struggled like that, you will never know what it's like to have that as your only option. You know, you don't have the resources to go for a normal everyday 9-to-5 job. The education sector in your area is really poor. You're not getting a proper adequate education, so it's like you can't even enjoy school. Your teachers don't care about you, and now you're like, okay, let me just, at least I can get money by being a corner boy, you know. It forces them to be in these environments.
And I feel like even like in our society today, like being in a capitalist society, it's really hard. Like, it's actually really hard to, because people want to be millionaires, people want to like you know, just survive. Like, it's so hard to survive in this kind of society. So I get why people kind of turn to that to get money fast.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sad, but
Yeah.
that's how it is. And I feel like we can have conversations on talking about how it's not good, like shouldn't be doing that, but we also need to have resources for
100%.
people to like
100%.
find
Yeah.
access
Yeah,
to.
exactly. Yeah, create opportunities for
Exactly.
like, you know, people that might not have any experience in jobs and stuff. Sorry, before I change the topic, is there anything else? Oh, sorry, I was just gonna ask. Yeah. Even you got dragged online. Yeah.
It's okay. I've been dragged too. Like real bad.
I haven't yet, but I'm trying to. In terms of like sharing your opinions, and obviously you stand by your spiritual side too. Like you're a Christian, you mention it confidently. When expressing yourself, do you find that sometimes you hold back because it might not be the general perspective, or it's not what's common, or the way you're really feeling, like what's really in your heart about a situation?
Not really. I feel like maybe like when I was younger, but I feel like now I just say what's on my mind. Like I said this on my episode as well. Like honestly, no one cares. Like that's just the reality of things. Like you can post something, okay, it'll be controversial for like a day or two. Everyone's forgotten about it. That's why I don't believe in cancel culture, because like you know, people are back. James Charles, he's back making his money. Like
people are banging Tory Lane's music anyway. Like sorry.
And like and like, you know, like people can be like, oh, like she has this and this, but like you might want to do things for people, but it's like no one actually cares. So that's why I feel like I feel like I can say the season that I'm in my life right now, I'm living so genuinely me. And I love that. Like, I just actually realized, how can I think about old mate Billy's opinion? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, who is Billy to me? He doesn't pay my rent. He doesn't pay my bills. He's not my mum, not my dad. Like, he's just one person that has a different opinion. But I can't let that stop who I am. Otherwise, you'll never be happy in life personally. You're constantly trying to appease people, trying to live for other people. Like, it doesn't make sense to me personally.
What was... we probably all have had it. We're all Christians, by the way, but like, just we're all... There's certain... Personally, I have had, but I would love to hear you guys also. What... Is there things that... Like... For being a young Christian is not easy. Especially in the culture we are in today, is where what you may feel may not be what usually happens. Do you know what I mean? So, have you guys dealt with that? Being that up forward in front of people, Christian, not that Bible bashing or anything, but like standing your ground and really like you're fixed. You're not gonna shake my faith. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, there's things that do, but like I'm talking in the sense of being around other people. Are you that confident with your Christianity or your spiritual side? Because sometimes I found that I would kick that to the side just a little bit and then bring it back up when it's closer to Sunday. Do you know what I mean? So do you guys go through that?
I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you're the guest.
I feel like what I've realized, I think when I was younger and like a Christian, I would have said like, but I feel like now I'm not, because I feel like, not to get too preachy on you guys, but like, I feel like when you understand who God is properly, like you actually have your own understanding of who God is. You've actually studied the Bible, actually studied your faith and what you believe. Because I understand fundamentally God is love. Like love is not a feeling, it's literally a person. Like Jesus is love. And understanding that and knowing that, you know, now Holy Spirit dwells in me and like I'm now the embodiment of Jesus now that he's gone before he comes back. I'm going to act in that way. So even when I have different opinions, I still say my opinion. Like I'll still like talk from like a Christian perspective, but it's always in love. But the thing is that bothers me is that there'll be Christians that'll be like, say things so rudely, so harshly, and they'll be like, oh, but it comes in love. That's not love. Like you can't
respectfully at the end.
Like that's actually not love at the end of the day, you know. And I think that's where a lot of people get it twisted. Like, and that's why people have such a warped perception. Like I remember I tweeted about this famous Christian influencer very amazing woman, but she posted something and it was like 3 different people, like an outline of a human body, and it had like the rainbow to represent LGBTQI, a Christian, and then like some other like sinful things. And she was like, the ones that are not the Christian person are wrong. And I was thinking, okay, even if as a Christian you don't support that lifestyle, why would you post something like 100%. That? Like that's just inciting more hate, and that's why people view Christians so like traditional, backwards, and it's just like that's not who we are. Like people ask me all the time, what are your opinion on like gay people, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like what do you like? I don't actually, I don't know how to answer that, because it's just people. Like I'm Jesus Christ, period. Like not love, but not love if there's no conditions to his love. So why do I have conditions to mine? You know,
even in the lifestyle that Jesus lived, like he was hanging around prostitutes.
Exactly.
Like but then we won't even let prostitutes into church.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like we have to. It's like even though we don't say it, the way that Christianity is built, it's a holier than thou. You know, type of thing.
It's a closet
but
thing.
Then it's like we do, like sin is sin at the end of the day. You have big people. I remember even like something, we found it funny because it was absolutely absurd. We were in like year 10 and this pastor claimed that he had it's so funny.
This is real funny. It's not, but it's funny.
It's not, but it's funny. So he big Hillsong pastor, or like at least a worship leader, he claimed that he had cancer. Was it cancer?
Yeah, it was cancer.
And he shaved his head. He said he made his wife drive him to appointments. He had an oxygen tank.
Mind you, he lied to his wife and family as well.
The whole church made a song about it and everything.
He would bring like the oxygen mask
to hide a pornographic addiction.
Yeah, it is.
Don't know how the correlation works, but it's like
if
you think it's like how are you going to say you're holier than thou? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very interesting because like sometimes even the people within the church could be doing much worse.
But it's just hidden.
People are doing outside, but it's just hidden by like.
There's no safe spaces for people to talk about like, oh, I'm struggling with lust, or I'm struggling with like pornography, and it's like you'll be condemned. But if you want people to grow in their identity in Christ, you need to allow them to have that safe space to be like, hey bro, like I'm actually struggling, I need you to pray for me. But people will suffer alone,
and we've created that environment.
Exactly. And it's quite sad to me. Like I always say to like my Bible study group, I'm always like, guys, like even if you told me you want to murder 5 people, like just message me. Like I'm not here to judge you. Like I'm not here to condemn you. That's not the characteristics that Jesus held. You know, like what did Jesus say to that adulterous woman? He said, go sin no more. He who has not sinned, cast the first stone. He never condemned her. He just showed her grace and love. And that's what we're called to do.
Word. Like I feel like sometimes as Christians, we've created that environment where I won't let you feel like you can open up. Do you know what I mean? Because we're supposed to build perfectly or whatever. But through me, I guess that knowing Jesus for yourself really gives you that confidence to, even though there's a bad environment already, even though it's already like the church may not be the best it could be, it's obviously not, but it's not at the best place. You can still go forth and, you know, still feel free in the presence of God and feel free in church, feel free because it really and truly like it's Christ as well as his love is also freedom. Do you know what I mean? So it's not one of those things where he wants you to hide everything that you
100%.
And I was, how can I say, I just mentioned like as a thought before, you know, as D has come out with a podcast and then tell your testimony too, that for someone to say that on a platform is difficult. Obviously we applaud you for that, you know what I mean? Like good job, you know. But like for someone to share their testimony in that light as well, and then for me, like, you don't know what you do for other people, do you know what I mean? So like if someone hears that you have gone through something and you were able to speak on that, I'm like, D did it, why can't I?
Exactly.
Open up to your parents, open up to your friends, open up to whoever it is, that, you know, like I can be myself rather than this person that everyone wants wants me to be.
100%.
And that, I love. Oh no, you go.
You
I was just gonna compliment you. It was just I love that like you're a person who idolizes making Christianity for young people look like something that's normal, because like people see it as like, oh, if you're a Christian, like you're not cool, you're not in it, you know what I mean?
Allow us, man.
I think it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that your goal is to make people like feel like it's a normal thing, like it's life is still great, life is still fun, like when you're a Christian, you believe in God, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, thanks. So I definitely like feel that, like especially when I started that Bible study group, like a lot of people's views on themselves as a Christian has changed. I'm like, I'm so proud of you guys. I'm like, oh, you guys like my family. Like, like I'm just so proud of like how like, and it's not even about being like the posting every single day. That doesn't make you a Christian, but it's like they have the confidence to do so now. Like, you know,
it does make a Christian.
and just seeing people's growth in that and seeing how like, oh, like I didn't know this and now like I'm able to understand this. And it's just like, it's not this legalistic, if you do this, you're going to hell. Like, you know, Romans 8:38. There's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. There's no sin, no fear, no death. Whatever the verse says, go search it up if you have the Bible.
Great chapter.
But you know, there's nothing that can separate us from God. So why are you living in that fear if He's already confirmed that? Like His word doesn't change at the end of the day. He's like, and the thing is, we think how we feel is going to change how God feels about us, and it's like, no, like you could be depressed and distant from Him, He still loves you regardless. You know, like it doesn't change.
But like that can be that's like a huge key to like bringing people to Christ. That's like the best way to possibly do it for young people.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're so used to being in this society where Christianity is like, you have to be the perfect Christian, like, you know, you don't have to be relatable
before you come to church.
Yeah, exactly.
What type of
like,
crap is that? Like,
so it's like that pushes people away from the church and like God. And even the way the church is today, it's like it pushes like just people in this world away from who God actually is. So like we need that.
Exactly. And it's like, I feel like one thing that I'm learning to do, at least let my life be a gospel rather than preaching a gospel.
Facts.
100%.
So like I feel like I like transitioned from that point where it's just like, yeah, like y'all supposed to do this, y'all don't sin, like, but it's like I'm living out God and then letting that be a testament, letting that be something that that people see as the gospel essentially, where it's like, because I feel like a lot of the time it can be like you're preaching one thing, but then your actions or your lifestyle, the way that you behave to other people doesn't emulate the love of God.
And I always say that evangelism is literally not about screaming on the road. Like evangelism is literally like in how you, I feel like I've said this like 50 times to people, but like it's literally in how you act. Like, you know, people will be like, damn, how's Grace so kind? And she'll just be like, it's because of God. Like it's because of the love of God that I have in me. She didn't have to say God is kind. People already see that through actions, because words mean nothing if your actions don't match it, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like that would benefit a lot of like the church as a whole and the view of the church, because like we won't have to be doing up corner at Melbourne Central with a megaphone.
Have you guys seen that guy on Flinders Street?
Probably have, honestly. Too.
You're going to hell.
Like,
You are
don't
sinners.
get that. I don't get that. Even I walk past. I don't even acknowledge the guy. Like.
Seen the photo on this time. You will listen when you are dead. Have you ever seen that?
Literally.
You will listen when you're... No, but I mean, both of them are needed.
Oh yeah, of course.
Both of them are needed. It's not.
Wait,
it's not
you
just
mean like the way the guy did it?
Oh no.
Okay.
Allow my man. It was all good, but both the speaking to people about God and as well as your act, but just don't disregard either. Do you know what I mean? It's not just
it's not one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you're not just talking. And the reason I'm so confident today is because of the environment that I've been in for my whole life. My parents are pastors, and so it's
you're a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
PK.
different life. Let me just say this, good disclaimer, Don't think because I'm a pastor's kid, I lived the holy life. Like, no, I wasn't a bad man. That came out wrong.
Like, a bad man on the line.
Don't
Come on,
think
peaking rebellious. But as a pastor's kid, we go through this like almost the same things, obviously in different environment, different situation, but we experience just the same thing every kid experienced in high school, in your friendship groups, all that type of stuff. So allow me all the talk about, because I hear it too much, like, oh, pastor, you must.
Do you play the drums? Huh? Do you play the?
No, I play the bass. You're sad, bro. But you see, this is stereotyping, yeah.
But did you not disverify it?
No, but like you know what I mean. So like being in that environment, being able to become I don't want to say better spiritually for myself. Like I've matured different. I went to a patch of my life where I hated everything as well. Like I hated all going to church, going to worship, all that type of stuff. I disliked it. You know, them times when they say, "Oh, you're at Bible study," and they say, I don't know if you guys experienced it before, but they're at Bible study, and then they start to pray. So man puts his head down. And you sleep for the whole time, and then for some reason you can sleep, but as soon as you hear the amen, you get up. Like it's just a sense of, maybe it's pastors' kids that have that sense of, but it's like for me to come out of that and sort of like before it was secondhand from my parents, but right now because it's me, like I'm experiencing God firsthand, it's like you can't take me away from that, and then certain things that I do, this might be different, but it's influence. It comes from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a big thing. We have to close it, but like it's a big thing. Like it's not necessarily that we're making it cool again, but you can be a Christian. Do you know what I mean? Like it's there's no like you have to do this. My pops was telling me one time, and probably last one, and you guys can go, is that God wants us to be so spiritual that traditions don't really matter. Like you're moving according to the Spirit. Spat heaps. You're moving according to the Spirit rather than laws and stuff. Which that conversation got instigated by your post about whether women should dress a certain way when they just saved. I was having breakfast with my dad and I opened the conversation and we talked about it, and
modesty.
I wish you could keep going. I wish you could keep going, you know.
Even the sessions we had of modesty, you just think about it,
there's
like
so much to unpack.
I might leave you guys on to just keep talking about it, but like it's just that you're so in tune with God as a friend, as a close person, someone who's so close to you that it doesn't really matter what so and so says. It's about what's, because the Spirit's there. Do you know what I mean? And so if we're walking according to the Spirit, then there's no standard thing. Like it's not a certain way you do things, but
I 100% agree.
Just talking in alignment with like identity, relationship, and all that. Like how do you feel like what, I guess, how would you want people to describe you, and who are you? What's the woman you're trying to become? Essentially, like what is the legacy you're trying to create, or like what are you trying to establish over the next few years type of
I think for myself, what I've wanted to make a priority is like, let's say I was to like, God forbid, let's say I was to die like tomorrow. I want people to be like, she was a safe space. Like that's my biggest thing. It sounds really basic, but I think being a safe space is so important. Like people can be like, oh, like, you know, again, you're now a Christian, why are you still associating with certain people? But it's like, you know, our love doesn't just stop at believers. Our love is like, Jesus died for everyone. He didn't just die for those that choose to him. Like I would want to be remembered as someone that was just bubbly, a safe space, someone that, you know, people felt comfortable around. Like I used to, like back in the day, be like, oh, like, because I'm studying law, like people would be, I wanted to be like, oh, I want to be remembered as like this big shot lawyer and all of this. But those things don't mean nothing. Like people don't remember what you did. People remember the way that you made them feel at the end of the day. And you can be a big shot lawyer, but if you're an asshole, they're not going to remember your awards. All they'll remember is how rude you were. And so like, for me, because I used to have a bit of an attitude problem. I had to work. I had to work on things like that, just making people feel loved and like just empowering people to be the best version of themselves. Because I'm working to be the best version of me, and it's like if people see other people doing that, they feel empowered. Like people, and I posted this yesterday, just really quickly. People think self-love is just about me, myself, and I, but you actually need people. You need communities, and it is okay to depend on people as well. So I think that's just my biggest priorities at the moment.
Word. No, that's a good way to go, and it's like it's for other people too.
Exactly.
That's dope.
Can I ask one more thing? I just really want to get into it because like I was talking to her yesterday and she wants to do like prison reform, that kind of justice side. So like how did you get into that? Like what made you so passionate about that?
I have a friend in prison.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think just seeing, not justifying what he did or his crime, and he's in America as well, not justifying what he did, but just seeing the conditions, what led him to that. I was just like, this is not you. Like, obviously there was victims. At the end of the day, you've done what you've done. You have to pay the consequence. But even, have you guys watched the Khalif Browder story? That literally broke my heart. So basically he was wrongfully put in Rikers Island, one of the worst prisons in America.
Oh, this is When They See Us.
No. This is different. And, even when he was released and they were like, okay, we'd made a mistake, he suffered so much mentally that he ended up committing suicide whilst they were filming the documentary. So he was alive, to share his experience, but he ended up, killing himself. And I think just from that, I was like, these systems are so disgusting. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have punishment for people, but it needs to be in a more just way. And it starts, and I realized for a lot of especially the Black community, it starts at the lack of resources, lack of adequate education. Like I've been saying to people, I really want to be a teacher as well eventually, because you're the difference between someone being like, I actually enjoy going to school. You raise children more than their parents.
Exactly.
They spend 5 days a week with you. You're going to raise these kids. If you're a crappy teacher, that is a make or break. When now these kids are like, bro, stuff school, let's go. Or like they're 12, 13 and they're saying, bro, let's, one of the older guys was like, I can sell for him and things like that. And it becomes a cycle. So we need to prevention is better than cure. So
I feel like that's very important, especially because of the influence that American culture has on also like African Australians as well, because they idolize being able to say you made it out from the locks, you know what I mean? It's that whole
free the guy,
you know what I mean?
I always
free the broski.
Idolization of that, and it's very and I feel like it's just based on finding that identity, but we need to create like a more positive identity
100%
within our community that does not center around us being incarcerated, going to prison,
100%.
or foolish things that, especially in Australia, where we're given more so the benefit of the doubt in a lot of circumstances, choosing a better option and choosing a better route of success, because it's like you have to, there's this whole culture where you have to make it out from the mud to like make it big.
Literally.
But it's like you've been given this platform, so make it from where you are now without having to revert from everything that like say your parents or you have achieved thus far.
And just really lastly as well, I always say Australian gangs, like I literally, because I have a lot of friends in America, they were like, one of my guy friends, he was like to me, you guys know nothing about gangs. If you want to see a real gang, we'll show you a real gang. And that is literally like, we are like peanuts, the gangs that they try to assimilate, emulate here. It's like, you guys don't, and gangs weren't even created for violence. They're created to protect the neighborhoods.
It's like
which a lot of people don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but it's unfortunate that Australian gangs are still going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's becoming more dangerous.
Yeah.
So, like, it may be good for them. We're becoming dangerous like them, but then it's still detrimental, like, either way. You know what I mean?
I feel like it still centers around the desire for belonging, community, and it's so sad that that's the group that is the most accepting of them and that they idolize the most. And I feel like that's where the connect needs to be made, maybe intergenerationally, because like I feel like there's like there's a lack of understanding with like the parents of like maybe the emotional state or lack of identity that the youth have, where it's like, oh, why aren't you not doing this and this and that?
Yeah.
But then so they just go to a different crowd.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah, but I feel like there is a lot of misunderstanding in our society, and the system is broken. So like what I believe in is like you can't really fix the system that we currently have. It can't really be fixed, but there can be things that can come in place and take the role of what our system is today. Yeah. But at the same time, before we kind of bring down what the system is today and make it something new, we still have to have resources so people can build and understand, educate themselves, and we can have things in place for the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Creating other options, because I feel like a lot of the times why probably people in America get involved in like drugs and all those other things is like that's the only thing they have in terms of making money, in terms of employability, in terms of resources. That's the only thing that they know, just based on environmental factors. So I feel like creating resources, creating other avenues, initiatives where they are able to gain access to other jobs where they see success and are able to gain the wealth that they desire. I feel like is very important.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
No, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
I just looked at the camera and I think the memory's about to die. Yeah. So hopefully we can finish the outro before we stop.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you guys for listening to once again another episode of the Talk Podcast. TALC stands for culture. Remember that. Pronounce the talk right. It's talk, not talk. Yeah. Joined by a beautiful guest, Danai. Joined by D. Go listen to her first episode. By the time this drops, another episode should be out, I think.
Yeah.
By the time this drops, another one's out. So make sure you go and listen to that. Listen to them again if you want to. You know what I mean? It's good to listen to anyway. Do you know what I mean? So just listen to it again. Get those the things up. The listens up. The listens up. Yeah. Anything to plug? You guys got? Anything you want to plug? Apart from your...
Follow my career services business. It's in my bio.
Career services
That has
business.
a good story behind it too.
Yeah.
I love it.
You might come another day. You have to come another day. There's quite a bit I feel like we need to talk about. But you'll come another day. Anything you want to plug?
No, not really. Can't think.
Follow
Grace always has something.
Amani Photography for shoots came out for Vivuli as well. Amazing photographer.
Shout out Amani, shout out Vivuli, shout out Bowl Chain, shout out Dose of D. Man. This has been the Talk Podcast, episode 22. We'll see you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss anything. But the subscribers go up quite quickly.
Really?
I said 50. Yeah. I said 50. We should say like what 75 or something because it's like 43 now.
Really?
1,000?
Yeah,
1,000.
1,000.
D said it. 1,000 subscribers.
1,000.
Yeah? I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Hit that bell. You see me? And leave.
You know how to add the bang effect?
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
No, I don't have those type of editing skills. So next time, yeah. But don't forget to do all that. Follow us on our platforms as well. There's a link tree in Dee's bio as well to check out her podcast and all she has to. She's got quite a bit going. So, man. See you guys next week. Bow.
History.